there is a downside to text messaging.
Okay, what I'd love to hear it.
People forget how to write.
Well, they're the short, you know, text messages. That's true, and of course with Twitter, where you know you only have 140 characters, you have to be careful about that. And you know, at another topic, sometime I would love to discuss my theories about the disappearance of newspapers, and I'll just encapsulate exactly what you're saying in one sentence. A lot of the information you see in blogs is not vetted, like a newspaper person would have to actually check the story. Anyone can write anything in a blog, and people see it in print and they think it's true. I'm not saying that blogs aren't good, but I'm saying that you can write anything and people think it's true, and it may not, the source may not be validated. And so that's another whole topic. I'm not going to get into that now, but if you want my views someday, I'd be happy to discuss it. So now we're talking about marketing. Now, good marketing is good marketing. I don't care who you are, there's a buying cycle. Those of us who are marketers from the old school know that you have a beginning of a buying cycle, a middle of a buying cycle, and the end of the buying cycle. Now, pretty much for people that are on texting and in messaging, you're pretty close to the middle to the end of the buying cycle, because you're not probably doing your research with a mobile device. It probably is a little too far away from, you know, having, you know, sitting down at a big screen where you have a printer and, you know, you have ability to do research. So that's usually the beginning of the buying cycle. Here, you're already sort of in the buying cycle, but again, here's the tactical approach that you would need for the different types of campaigns that you might want to run. For example, if you're looking for branding, whether you're doing it on your website or whether you're doing it on your mobile device, you know, what kinds of vehicles and tactics can you use to get to branding? Well, obviously web and display. You could use social marketing for branding. Store, you're in a store, you want to invite your friends and fans to that store while you're there, etc. That helps the brand. Video, that's very good for branding. In-game, an application in a game, because you already have an audience, you know who that audience is, and if you're advertising in that game, you then can highlight whatever you need, because you know the demographics. Typically, if they're playing a certain type of game, you kind of know the demographics that you're dealing with, and if you're an advertiser within that platform, that's a pretty high correspondence with that audience. And then obviously an application itself, like the weather, if you're looking for weather, you know, you're in an application that you're looking, so maybe if you sell a magazine that's related to weather or boating or something like that, you know, that would be a good vehicle to put your advertising on, and voice. Now, drive to mobile site, you know, again, it's web display, it could be messaging, paid, and I don't need to actually go click to call through all of these different lead generation. You know, obviously lead generation would be messaging. Paid search is very good for lead generation, because people typically are looking for a very specific something and you want to get that client. And then an application is good, and direct sales again is sort of the same kind of thing, but that's more like your Best Buy or, you know, Macy's, or somebody who actually has an offer and something to buy. Now, what I was saying before is really true, is that doing a marketing campaign is still doing a marketing campaign. Whether you're doing it for mobile, or whether you're doing it for your website, or whether you're doing it for your offline marketing, you really have some key questions to ask yourself. And we actually start, even though we're a development company, we're actually a marketing company first. And so here are the key things that you really need to talk about. You know, what are your mobile campaign goals? And here's what I always say to people is, when people come to us and they say, I want a website and I have web goals, I say those web goals shouldn't be different than your marketing goals. You have marketing goals umbrella, then you have your marketing goals if you're using your website, and now you would have marketing goals and how you could use mobile to enhance those same goals. You know, if your marketing goals are sales, your marketing goals are still sales. It didn't change. It's just how can we use this channel to help us reach those goals. So you want to know, you know, what are these goals? And they should align with the rest of your company's goals. Who are you trying to target? With internet, the one thing that's really, really great about internet, and I know there's offline programs too that do this, big databases that you can buy where you can get leads, but the internet is just a wonderful place for targeting audiences and geography and, you know, tastes, likes, dislikes, behavior. It's terrific because all of that evidence and characteristics are all recorded all the time. Facebook, i.e., is a wonderful example of that. So basically, who are you trying to target? And your targets may be in a variety of places now. They're not all in one place. Like it used to be everybody's on TV, mass media. Even that has changed. They're not. So really what you want to do today is figure out where is the best target audience for what you want them to do. Okay? How is your audience using mobile? Are they an industry that's already using mobile? I know a lot of people say, you know, oh, here's doctors or lawyers. They don't use the web that much, and that's not true. You know, doctors and lawyers all have these devices. I mean, who has the devices in their pocket? That's who you have to really think about. It's people that want to be kept up to date. They're informed. They have the device. They may not be using all of the applications that are available, and they may not be using all the mobile web, but they certainly have the devices, and they're first to have the devices. So the next thing is figure out how you can get in front of them with that device. That's the real thing. We believe that the mobile campaign should be part of the bigger campaign. It should be part of your overall internet marketing and your overall marketing strategy. That all of these things should be coordinated. So if you're doing branding, you're not going to have 4 different logos. I mean, if you're Nike, you have one logo and everybody knows, oh, that's Nike. If you're Coca-Cola, they know you're Coca-Cola. You don't have a mobile brand and another brand. Now, you may want to have different icons today to brand a certain application with your name as a sub-brand under your major brand. Those things work as well, you know, but then you need a lot of advertising to link it with your initial brand. But I'm just saying that you don't want to have, you know, different logos, different brands, different strategies. You want to have one consistent strategy that leads to your overall marketing goals. Available budget. Although this budget is less, there should be a budget because you want to seed every campaign. You want to do some advertising that actually costs some money. So people think everything is free. It's not really. So, and if people want to talk a little bit about social media marketing, again, a lot of people think that's free, and it's not really either. If you write blogs and you're doing Facebook ads and you're doing all of the other social media marketing, it takes a lot of work. And work is money. If you can't have somebody, if you have to hire somebody, it's going to cost you. If you have to do it yourself, it's going to cost you. So either way, you're going to be, you know, spending some money when you're trying to do marketing and advertising with people. And how can you use your arsenal in mobile? In other words, how can you leverage one type of thing against another? I think a lot of people don't leverage. They do silos. They do a tactic here, a tactic there, and they don't leverage one against the other. And you really should, because you can actually spend less and get more. And what does success look like for you? A lot of times we put key performance indicators in place before we start the campaign. In other words, what are we trying to get? Are we trying to get click-throughs, calls, sales? What's the ultimate goal? Eyeballs, if it's just branding, people at a particular event. You know, what's going to be the method of measuring whether or not you're successful? I think that's really the key.